Hey everybody, welcome to Will and Drew's Gaming Retrospective. You're listening to episode 130. It's for the week of June 27th, 2021. I am your host, Drew, and I am joined in video once again by Will. What's up, man?
Dude, we're back on Twitch.
Well, for the time being, yes.
For the time being, yes. Fingers crossed, folks. I have an Ethernet cable running from the iMac to the modem right now, and it's stable for now, but let's hope it stays that way.
Yeah. So far, everything is looking pretty smooth. I got to say, I'm pleased with the results thus far. Hopefully, knock on wood, things will remain this way. We won't end up with some kind of crazy drift between our voices and our lip movements like we were getting 3 or 4 weeks ago. And, man, that sucked.
It did suck, and I really hope that doesn't happen again. I mean, it's crazy to think it's 2021. I got a freaking Ethernet cord, like Halo 2 style, going from the computer to the router that I had to get a tech move in here on Friday. So, that's what you get, You pay premium price for premium internet, and you get an Ethernet cord.
Dude, if it makes you feel any better, like, all of my stuff is hardwired in this room. I have the modem and the router in the GameStop with me. And the router is actually sitting on the same desk that my monitors sit on. Everything is plugged into that router. I just, I don't trust wireless enough. If you hear any slamming back there, it's because Nikki's probably murdering one of the cats. I don't know if the microphones are picking that up. I have the door open in the GameStop because it is 95 degrees here in Connecticut. And this room is as far away from the air conditioning as it gets. So it gets a little misty in here, little stuffy, and I decided to keep the door to the GameStop open. There's a fan kind of blowing some air in. It's on low, but, so the noise levels might be a little bit off, but it'll be a much more comfortable experience.
Good. Well, I will say this, man. You definitely have changed my perspective on Wi-Fi as a service, and we shouldn't even really say as a service because it's not. The internet is the service, and Wi-Fi is kind of up to the user. So I think a lot of us forget that because we're spoiled. We want consistent internet all the time. And just like you said, when you used to work at a prior company, you used to have a lot of phone calls of people asking, hey, my internet doesn't work today, but it did yesterday. Well, you're on Wi-Fi and you're streaming several things at once. So it does fall on the user's modem and the user's usage. And I think that we have to remember that sometimes.
And a lot of times the stuff that's completely out of your control too. In your case, you live in a building with, a dozen or so tenants immediately around you. And, everybody's got Wi-Fi and everybody's got, think about it this way, right? If you have a household of 2 adults, you've got 2 cell phones, probably 2 computers, right? We're up to 4 devices now. You've got at least one smart TV, more likely 3,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm.
Because, I'm assuming all these units that you live in are relatively the same. You have a bedroom, a living room, and like an office, right? So 2 to 3 TVs on Wi-Fi. You've got your thermostat,
Mm-hmm.
whichever unit has. And then that's not even including tablets, video game systems. It's absurd.
Yeah.
And as Epic Outro says, he's got 14 TVs he's working with at home, and he's got a lot of neighbors. So I'm sure his Wi-Fi is a mess too.
Yeah, and a lot of people multitask. They're watching something on their phone,
Right.
and then they're doing 8 other things on 8 other devices at once.
It's true.
It is true. But you're absolutely right. I never thought about this potential issue when we moved in here, and could be facing it now, but we'll see.
Yeah, man, just got to take it one day at a time, unfortunately. But real quick, so for all the people that are watching at home on Twitch, in the event that we end up starting to have some technical issues again, we may just cut the video briefly. We'll come back in, and we're just going to keep rolling because obviously if this doesn't work, we have to do something else. But we don't have time for that today because we have video games to talk about. So
we do.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to Will and Drew's Wi-Fi retrospective. We appreciate you. We appreciate you tuning in. Of course, you can find us on the web at www.wdgrpodcast.com. That's wdgrpodcast.com. Hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at WDGR Podcast. Will, if somebody would like to follow you, how can they do so?
Yeah, you can check out my hot beats on soundcloud.com/Will_gear.
And you can find me on Twitter at ScienceStorm. Will, go ahead and give that camera a quick refresh if you don't mind. We are seeing a little bit of drift on your voice. And in the meantime, too, folks, I just want to give a quick shout out to all of our Patreon supporters. Special thanks to Neuromancer9K, aka Keith, the last son of Bob, Nick from Salt City Games, and Data Dive, aka Shannon. Thank you so much for supporting us. If you'd like to be a Patreon subscriber, $5 a month will get you access to a exclusive podcast episode every month. Last month we did, well, I guess it's still June. Man, it feels like July already.
It does. It's going to be in a few days.
It is. So for the month of June, that was us talking about the 2021 release of Mortal Kombat. July is going to be Tomb Raider from 2018. And man, that was a fun episode to record because we got to record that in person too. So
I had a blast with that one, man. And I think a lot of it was because we were in person, and that's such a rarity for us.
Yeah. It certainly added to the whole overall experience. So
100%.
So let's start talking, man. What have you been up to? What have you been playing?
Well, I've actually been playing more Astros because Lauren has been requesting that we play it. And
Really?
The little boy inside me has been pretty giddy about this because Lauren is not a gamer. She plays mobile games. She does a lot of Candy Crush like a lot of other folks. Very addicted to that and has been for years. And she likes fun games. And I think that, that makes sense. Given the fact that she's not a gamer. I feel like most non-gamers prefer to play something that is a little bit more accessible, like a Mario or a Mario Kart or something like that. So yeah, she's been requesting that we play that a little bit more often, and she helps me. So I'll generally play because she's not that great at it, and she gets frustrated. So I'll play and she'll help me find artifacts and puzzle pieces and stuff. So we played that yesterday, and yeah, this could be the first game, man, that I might actually try and hunt for a real platinum trophy. For folks that don't know, I'm not a trophy guy. I'm not an achievement guy. If it happens on accident. I don't seek out the achievement. I don't seek out the trophy. However, because I have such a love affair with Astro's Playroom, I think I probably will have to go for the platinum because on Sunday, we actually managed to get all the artifacts and all of the puzzle pieces for the mural.
Wow.
So the mural now is complete in the PlayStation Labo, which gives you a nice sort of cartoonish Astro timeline of the PlayStation legacy. And the artifacts are basically all of the peripherals and consoles and all things PlayStation that you just kind of store in the room. So we have everything now. And I just wish it was real so I could just bathe in the PlayStation Labo and call it mine.
I mean, you should try and see if they have the mural as something that you can, purchase. I bet you
Oh,
somebody's
that's a
done it.
really good idea.
I bet you somebody's done that.
I would totally buy like an Astro's Playroom piece of merchandise, like a t-shirt, poster, art, or like a little Astro dude, like a little Funko Pop or just something. I gotta have something to kind of, seal that legacy in this room.
You are like absolutely just engrossed with this game.
I
It's
really am, man. It's so addictive. It's so fun. And I want a part two, man. I
yeah.
want a part two.
It's really refreshing to see you feel this way about a game that's so atypical for you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, everyone knows that I'm always into stuff that's like, Gravity Rush or Metal Gear and, usually a lot of Japanese kind of games and obscure indie games sometimes and very specific stylized action-y kind of games. And with Astro's Playroom, it really is a departure from all that in a lot of ways for me. And I think it's pleasing for you, it's pleasing for me, and hopefully it pleases some of the fans because I'm sure there's a lot of folks that are like, man, I just want to be able to play something else.
So, I mean, it sounds like, Lauren's kind of wrapped up in this whole experience with you. Have you been trying to think of any other games to like further that interest,
Absolutely. We are on a mission. We were actually on a mission somewhat yesterday after we beat the game. And I was on the PlayStation Store and I was just kind of scrolling through games, trying to find something that maybe she would like. And I was definitely not being that subtle about it. I was like, hey, this game Unraveled, this is your kind of game. And I was trying to almost kind of soften the blow with like buying another game just so I could play it, but then she could play it too. So I was trying to be kind of sneaky about it. But
Yeah.
yes, I have been Googling things like, games that are similar to Astro's Playroom. And I know Vic actually suggested the Mario Galaxy games. And I think there was another Mario game, but of course I don't have a Switch. So we might have to find something else on a Sony platform until I can get a Switch again.
Well, Galaxy is on the Wii. So I don't know if you got rid of your Wii, didn't you?
Lauren had a Wii, and then I had a Wii U.
Okay.
And we got rid of the Wii U because I wasn't playing it anymore and we weren't playing it. That was kind of our Mario Party, Mario Kart console.
Gotcha.
And that was the only time she ever gamed with me, and we just weren't doing it. I kind of miss it, even though that console sort of sucked. There was a legacy that we kind of put into that system just between her and I.
Yep.
And I kind of miss it sometimes. I kind of miss being like, hey, honey, can we play some Mario Kart? And she'd always be just, sure. So we can bring that back again, and it'll probably be with the Switch. But I would love to find something, and if folks know of a game that is similar to Astro's Playroom on a Sony platform, if it's PS3 or PS5, please let me know.
Or PS4, because it's mostly backwards compatible, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. There's very few games, to my knowledge, that are not backwards compatible at this point.
Yeah, I'm trying
Small list.
I'm trying to think of what might fit the criteria that you're looking for.
I mean, we looked at Sackboy. We looked at the new Sackboy Big Adventure.
Yep.
And that's a newer game, and it's actually on sale for like 40 something. And it looked kind of fun. I mean, is it the same? No, but I think it has the same kind of platforming presence and gameplay loop and all that kind of stuff that Astros has. So we might consider that.
Yeah, that seems like that's kind of along the same lines. That same kind of whimsical kind of childish is the wrong term, I think, but
Endearing.
Yeah, I think endearing is a good way to put it because Sackboy and Little Big Planet as a whole has always been about that kind of like tapping into your inner child, that creativity that goes with it, that sense of wonderment and exploration. I never really got into the Little Big Planet games. I dabbled with one of them, maybe on the PSP. I don't remember which one it was. Absolutely gorgeous, don't get me wrong. But it just wasn't the right game for me at the right time, I guess. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, that might be something worth checking out, though. That might strike for you guys.
Yeah, and this is going to sound really strange, but perhaps not. I found that I was enjoying the game so much and I was playing it so much and I felt really compelled to play it more and more. And the fact that I beat it so quickly really went to kind of show that maybe this kind of genre of games is something that I need to incorporate into my library a little bit more often because I was almost fighting it. I was like, I should not be enjoying this as much as I am. And I was almost afraid that this whole time I've been playing the wrong kinds of games. Sorry, I got a fucking hair in my mouth. And I was like, man, should I be playing like cutesy Nintendo-like games? Is this the right genre for me? And I was like, no, no, no. Stick with the weird Japanese obscure shit, stylized whatever, and just, don't play those games because you play Astros more than you do the other games. So it was a weird sensation, a weird feeling that kind of came across me, and I was almost afraid to address the fact that I had liked it so much. It's kind of like when you go to I don't know, like a place that you would be embarrassed to go to like roller skating or something. You're like, man, I really like this. Like, oh shit, I didn't mean to say that.
Hope nobody heard me.
I didn't say that at all. Yeah, hope nobody heard me. But holy fuck, dude, this is fun.
Oh man.
That's kind of the effect. Is I feel like I'm on rollerblades, like purple rollerblades. I'm like, man, this is fucking fun. But I don't want anybody to know.
Well, I think there's room in your life for both.
I think there is.
See, here's the thing, right? With these long story-driven games, like they're enjoyable, but they can be exhausting. Mm-hmm. And I think that that's a big part of the reason why I struggle to finish a lot of them because, pardon the cat tail. One of the downsides of having my door wide open is Metro makes an appearance on the stream. Okay, you're sitting on the headphones. That's not cool. Thanks, bud. All right, you're good. Anyway, one of the downsides to playing those games, like a game like God of War, for example, which is, 30 to 40 hour game, is it's so heavy for those 30 to 40 hours. It's a game that takes itself very seriously. And maybe there's moments of levity within the story, but, for the most part, you're dealing with this constant darkness, death, all these, just heavy things. And even a game like Final Fantasy VII Remake, which, is a little bit more whimsical, it's still a relatively heavy game because you're trying to tell this deep, intricate story. And sometimes it's fun to just pick up a controller and do something stupid.
Indeed, my friend. Indeed. And I think the simplicity of Astro's Playroom is so evident that you start to realize like how refreshing it is to play something so simplistic over the slogs of games that we're used to. And, I get it. A lot of games now are at least 40 hours long, anywhere between 20 and 40 or more. And that's fine. But man, just like you said, sometimes to just kind of reboot out of that and do something else that's so overly simplistic, because Astros, is literally just collecting coins and jumping on things and punching things. There's just no penalties, really.
Right.
So to be able to have that experience is really liberating in the sort of gaming world that we live in today.
I think that's one of the reasons that I've been so into MLB The Show lately. Most of the time when I turn my Xbox on, I'm putting on that game because I don't need to worry about immersing myself in a story. I could just pick it up. I can go in and depending on how much time I have to play, maybe I only have 20 minutes. Well, that's enough time for me to work on a couple of the challenges that they have. Maybe it's a thing where like you have to get, 2 home runs in a game, but it's not the full game. You're not playing every part of that game. You're locked as one player and it only does his at-bats. So that could take 10 minutes or less, and then I could just move on.
Yeah, the difference there is you're playing a freaking game and that game is baseball.
Right. That game has a grind in other ways, but I think for my day-to-day, urges, it does seem to fit most of them. Although I haven't had a lot of time to play much lately, but I knew we were going to record today and I had some free time this afternoon. So I was like, you know what? I have to play something. So I tried a couple things. What the hell was the first game I tried?
I am all ears, by the way. I'm glad you chose this route this afternoon.
Yeah, it was just kind of like a moment of like, oh shit, I got to play something. But I have to like go in my library to like look at what it was because now I don't fucking remember.
Wow. I don't know what to say to that.
Well, one of the games I was going to talk about, I wrote down, which is in our notes. But the other one, I bounced off of so hard I forgot about it. Oh god. Let's see here. Where is it? Oh my god, I'm looking for like my achievements list.
Quickly.
Where are my
Great
achievements?
podcasting.
Forager. It's called Forager.
Okay.
So you remember a while ago, I was playing that game Night Call, that taxi cab car game?
Very much so. Yes.
Well, when I started playing that, it was marked for leaving Game Pass soon, and I haven't touched it since, and it's since left Game Pass. So that was like the first thing that I decided to play, and I couldn't. So if I want to buy it, it's currently $20. I'm not sure I want to spend $20 on it. Maybe I'll keep an eye out for a sale. Otherwise, I may just forget about the game entirely. But that's on me. I missed that opportunity to finish it on Game Pass, and I'll just have to live with that. So then I had this other game that I downloaded called Forager, which I wasn't really too sure about, and it's like this pixelated kind of top-down view, and it kind of seems like one of those like types of things where you harvest items to build items to harvest more items to build more items kind of game loops. Mm-hmm. Think Animal Crossing, Stardew Valley, stuff like that. And it was one of those, but this one has like a life and a energy bar. And if your energy runs out, then you start losing life. And I'm like, there's nothing on this island that I'm trapped on that is going to cause me that much distress. Like, this is way too cute of a game. I'm harvesting fish, right? I have like these automatic fisheries that are like getting fish, and yet I'm still like getting exhausted. I'm just like, I can't do this. This is not
too much work.
It's not for me right now. So I closed it out. I almost uninstalled it, but I'm like, you know what? I want to give this another shot. Maybe it's worth playing. So I'll try it out later. So then I had also installed Maneater, which are you familiar with this at all?
I am, and it's actually thanks to our good friend Damien
Saikoro,
who streamed it last year or earlier this year. He streamed it.
Yeah, I remember him going live with notifications for that, and a lot of people have been talking about it over the past few months. I think it was really popular when it first came out, and it's kind of fizzled out since, right? So leave it to me to play it. And
you give the scraps to Drew over here.
I only got about 20 minutes in before I had to stop and make dinner. But what a ridiculous fucking game. And if any of my colleagues from work are listening to this episode, I was not aware that Troy Landry had a guest starring role in this. They got this character in the game. And he just sounds exactly like the dude from Swamp People who's talking about the gators, except this dude's talking about sharks. He's like, yeah, I got a big one shark over here. I'm going to get them and cut them up and eat them.
Oh my God. It's like the Bubba Gump shrimp thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Forrest Gump.
This game does not take itself seriously whatsoever. It is just ridiculous. You are the shark and your job is to eat everything. And there's like...
I was going to say, I remember a sequence where Damien had moved, I guess, his shark of choice on top of a boardwalk and was just destroying people. And it was like blood and guts, everything. I was like, what am I watching? There's a shark on a boardwalk. It's not even in the water anymore. And Damien was just like stone-faced, like just completely nonchalant about it, just destroying people. And I remember just being in the chat. I was like, dude, like, are you good? And he's like, yeah, this game's awesome. I was like, all right.
You know what, though? Because, like, he slipped into, like, high score mode, right?
Yeah, he did.
Like I would, if that were me, I would
there was no smile on his face.
I would be losing it. I would be, like, just cackling, like, nonstop, like a maniac. Like, oh, my God, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, he was playing it like he was, in a tournament where there was a lot of money on the line. Which made it extra bizarre.
Oh, God. How many people can you kill? Goodness. But yeah, so that's unfortunately between that and MLB The Show, like that's the only like console gaming I've really been doing. Um, I got a new diamond card in The Show. I guess he's pretty good. I haven't used him yet. Um, yeah.
That's fair.
But like,
I think
go ahead.
I was just going to say it's one of those weeks where we just don't have a ton to report on because quite frankly, I'm still kind of playing the same games.
Right.
It's outside of Astros, it's Returnal, when I have the patience to play it.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, do you have to like go to your happy place when you're playing that game? Does it like frustrate the shit out of you or?
It's a weird love-hate relationship, and I feel like a lot of folks have this same relationship with Returnal. There's this pull, there's this magnetic pull to keep you coming back and to find out how far you can make it. But that RNG approach where everything's just randomly generated with the guns can be really a hard pill to swallow. When you get that perfect build and you're almost at the boss, and then you get into a room that's in lockdown mode, and then there's 50 enemies that you can't kill, and then you die. It's really discouraging. It has a Dark Souls effect where you're like, motherfucker, I got to do this all over again.
Ugh.
Now, granted, the environment changes every time, which makes it a little fresher. I think that is the only thing that's keeping people bringing back in a lot of ways, or keeping them coming back, I should say. Because if the environment wasn't changing, then it would be very much just a Dark Souls in space, I guess. But I'm still enjoying it. It's just very challenging, and I'm okay with that. But I have to be in the right mood. Like tonight, probably not going to happen. I kind of had a classic Monday at work, so I probably want to play Astros or Skyrim or something like that. Maybe Vampire Lord it up and just, bite some people's necks.
Yep.
But with Returnal, yeah, you have to be kind of in that mood where you're like, all right, it's game time, bitch. Like I'm going in, I'm getting my build, I'm going to mess up this boss and die and not mess up the boss, and then I'm going to try again. But the game is so cool and the gameplay is so cool that I think that's also another factor as to why people return, no pun intended,
Yeah.
to the ship every time, because you've seen it. It's very cool. Like the effects and the guns and what you experience and the sounds. It's enough to be like, man, this game is so cool, and I don't care if I keep dying. I actually read an article about a guy that said, I have not completed the first boss, and I've been playing this game for months, and I don't care because the gameplay is so good. And I have yet to read anything like that in many years, where somebody dies so much but keeps coming back because the gameplay is good enough to keep them going.
Well, I mean, it has that kind of arcade loop to it, just one more biome, or one more turn, or whatever the fuck it is, Thankfully,
That's it, man.
Doesn't need
one more
any
cycle.
It doesn't need any quarters, so that's good.
Yeah, and it's arcadey. It feels arcadey. It doesn't have like this sluggish Red Dead Redemption stroll to it. Like it's very much like go time. I can move fast, I can boost, I can get cool weapons that shoot fast, and that gameplay loop that you mentioned it's addicting.
Yeah,
I think people are addicted to this game.
I think so too. I want to play it more. I don't know that I'm addicted to it, but I enjoyed what I played. But I think my time with it was too limited. We've talked about it.
It was too limited.
We've discussed it previously, and
we're gonna reignite that at some point, whether it's here or if I tout it in the original box behind me here. If I bring it to your place, then we will have the right experience, and I'll make sure you get the time to examine the controller with a magnifying glass so you can see all of the logos.
Not even the controller, but the system itself too. Like I want to hold it. I want to compare it to my torso.
Yeah.
I want to I want to hold it up here and see is Drew fatter than a PS5?
It's like a torso for scale.
Yeah, exactly.
Put something like weird next to it, like avocado for scale.
I like it. Let's see here. I've been playing this mobile game that I think might be worth talking about. It's called Infinite Lagrange, and it's definitely a game that's made in another country. The grasp of the English language is lacking at best in some spots, but this is like a grand scale PvE/PvP outer space battle kind of game where you build a base, you harvest, 3 different types of goods. There's metal, there's crystal, and then there's metal, there's blue crystal, and then there's purple crystal. And these items are used to help you build up your base, make it stronger, build up your ships, make them stronger, get more ships, and everything is just ultimately leads to these large scale battles where you're sending 50 ships at a dude, and you've got your teammates who are in a guild. They call it a union in this game, but it's essentially a guild. They're sending their ships. They got 50 ships each, and then you're against another guy who's got his teammates, and they each got 50 ships, and it's like these large epic scale battles. And I gotta say, Will, for a mobile game, this has got to be one of the most gorgeous looking games I've ever played.
I'm gonna have to look at this.
It is just absolutely stunning. I apologize I did not have any video ready for this to discuss it, but it is an absolutely gorgeous game. It kind of reminds me of Sins of a Solar Empire or Homeworld in the way that it looks. And, you have just this incredible sense of vastness of space, right? I have ships that I've been trying to send across from one part of the galaxy to the other, and it's literally taking 2 days to get there. It's that slow. But then there's other parts where, like, if it's in your immediate area, you're talking maybe 10 minutes, 20 minutes tops, right? The PvP aspect of the game, I have to admit I'm not crazy about. I just don't really enjoy competing against other people, especially when you have a game that is so reliant on luck and or money. And this game doesn't rely on money too much, but you can buy your way into bigger and better ships if you have enough cash. The rest of it's just based on luck. And, like, for example, there's this one class of spaceship called a battle cruiser, which is one of the largest ones in the game. And I've been able to build it now for 2 weeks, but I don't have any blueprints to do so. So I don't have any battle cruisers in my fleet. And I'm not willing to spend the money to attempt to acquire them. So I'm just rolling the dice every time I pull a pack, because you get a pack daily for essentially nothing, right? Every time I'm rolling those dice, I'm trying to get that pack. Most of the time there's no blueprints. And if it is something, it's a lower tier ship. So that part of the game is becoming a little frustrating at this point. But overall, I think there's a solid foundation there. The game is new enough where it really can only get better from here, I think, if the developers continue to put the time and effort into it. And the cool thing about it is, in addition to being a mobile game, there's also a Windows version that you can install on your computer as well, too. And while it's not a perfect transition from touchscreen to mouse and keyboard, it's pretty damn close. So if I'm home, I find myself loading it up, and I'll let it run in the background while I'm editing one of our episodes, for example, or, because there's a lot of downtime. It's not constantly go, go, go. Maybe I'm just waiting for something to build while my ships are mining and doing their thing, and I'll edit, I'll work on some stuff, and then I'll come back to it and see where we're at,
Dude, it looks good. It looks really good for a mobile game.
It's very impressive. I love this kind of shit, man. I love these, like, epic outer space battles. And if I could do it in a way where it was strictly player versus enemy, like Sins of a Solar Empire, or maybe something like, if you could take this exact game and just made it so that there was no PvP aspect to it, I think I would just fall in love with this, right? But unfortunately, there is that PvP aspect to it, and they're leaning heavily on it. For example, you can level your ships up from attacking like the CPU opponents, but it caps out at level 30. And if you want those ships to increase in their levels, the only way to do it is either by using power-ups or attacking other human players. So they're really kind of encouraging you to go down that path of being like a warmonger and just pissing everybody off. Thankfully, when you do get destroyed, it's somewhat forgiving. They relocate your base into essentially a graveyard where there's no resources, but if you had some outposts where you were previously, you can just migrate back to one of those and you don't lose too much ground. But
Well, I tell you what we need, man, and this game is inspiring in a lot of ways, and I hope it's inspiring for game developers because you know what we don't have, at least to my knowledge, we don't have a good space game. Like we don't have a good space exploration game. There needs to be something like that, even if it's like an astronaut simulator or something where you could just travel around to different planets in our solar system with a cool ship. I'd be totally down for that, and I think a lot of other folks would, but we don't have that. And I'm
the
really actually quite surprised that we don't.
the closest thing would probably be No Man's Sky, which I think it has more in common with Minecraft than it does with what you're looking for. It is very much an exploration-driven game. Don't get me wrong, but you have all these gradual steps because you're constantly gathering certain materials so that you can build certain parts, so that you can fly to another planet where there'll be different set of materials that you can use to gather certain parts to build certain things. You're constantly upgrading your ship or buying new ships to get further and farther out into the galaxy. But it focuses heavily on this mining aspect where you're the one doing the mining, whereas a game like this, I'm just pointing and clicking and sending my ships over to do the mining, and it's automated. I don't want to be mining carbon with a laser. To me, that's just not fun. And that's unfortunately a lot of what No Man's Sky was, is, going around with a laser and trying to be sneaky about it and shooting stuff when the Sentinels aren't looking. And then when they do look, you either shoot them or you run like hell and you hope for the best. So
I'm kind of hoping that Starfield is what I'm looking for. Skyrim in space.
I think you got a shot of that, man. I don't know for sure. I mean, there's no details, but I think there's a chance,
Yeah. Fingers crossed, because I just want something, man. I mean, I know you would like that. Like if you could create your own ship and give it its own name and just travel around in space and just do cool space shit.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, shit, man. That's exactly what I want out of life. I just want to do cool space shit all the time.
Yeah. Fly to like a new planet on a Thursday and maybe go warp speed, or maybe take your time and take 14 years to get there,
Oh, goodness. I think that might be our episode title there. Cool space shit.
Cool space shit.
All right. So let's take a look here. You got a list of games that you're thinking of buying. USS Gruber from Epic Outro. Yes, I love it.
Love it. Love it. That's the name of that's the name of the room now.
The USS Gruber.
Yeah.
So
I'll just pretend I'm in a spaceship.
Well, I mean, you can go on YouTube and they have clips of the USS Enterprise, the engine sound, and it'll play for 30 minutes, an hour, 4 hours. There's one that goes 8 hours, 12 hours. There's been a couple times where I've had trouble sleeping. You're damn straight I've put that on, and everything was just right. Knocks me out.
We should find a way to incorporate that noise into the feed. So every time people listen or watch the show, they're stuck listening to the sound of my spaceship in the background.
I could do that.
The USS Gruber.
I could put the USS Gruber on loop. I could.
This might be a really good idea, but it also might be a really bad one.
Oh, goodness. All right.
Yeah, so I need to stay away from the store. Any kind of game store, digital stores, really in my realm of things, the PlayStation store to be exact, I need to stay out of there, because every time I go in, I start browsing games. And I know everybody does this. This is not just a me thing, but I need to be careful, because I often come across games that are on sale that I want, or sometimes they're full price games like Guilty Gear Strive, a game that I should really have no business trying or playing because it's a fighting game, which I'm not great at. I don't have an arcade stick, which I prefer to use. And I don't really understand the whole seasonal system. I think it's kind of an advanced fighting game. Guilty Gear is known for that. But man, from a visual perspective and style perspective, it looks right up my alley.
It's been a long time since I played a Guilty Gear game. Actually, now that I think about it, maybe the last time I played one of those games was Blaze Blue. I'm not even sure. I'm trying to remember because it's the same developer. Blaze Blue and Guilty Gear are the same devs. And the art style is so interchangeable that I frequently get them confused. But those games they're tough, man. They are.
Yeah.
This is no Street Fighter. Like, these are deep games that have a passionate following. Like,
which again is why I have no business playing it. But man, it just looks so cool.
is it something about like just the looks that are grabbing you, or like do you just have an urge for a fighting game?
I was telling Lauren that, I used to be a huge anime fan when I was a teen, like a lot of other dudes and just folks in general. And I think there's still kind of a soft spot for that stylistic approach that you generally find with anime sort of based games. And when I saw Guilty Gear Strive, I was like, man, this looks, stylistic. It looks like something I'm kind of intrigued about. And I looked into it and I was like, okay, it's a fighting game. I sort of knew that, but once I realized that the difficulty and the learning curve was pretty high, I was like, you know what? Maybe this is a game I'm better off just watching on YouTube. But yeah, I think overall, to answer your question, it's the style and the way that certain characters move and interact with each other. The motion of certain games is an interest to me.
You also have Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart on this list.
Yes.
And from everything that I've heard from everybody I've spoken to, like, this should probably be your next purchase for your PS5.
Yeah, I'm kind of on a roll right now with having PS5 exclusives, with the exception of Destruction All-Stars, which looks absolutely not to be a Will game. Even Lauren was like, this looks stupid. And I was like, it pretty much is. So with the exception of that, that is I believe, the last game that I need to acquire to have the entire PS5 exclusive library to date. But yeah, this game, I've talked about it, I think, enough, but, just from that visual perspective, man, and the amount that's going on the screen, I don't think anybody's seen anything like it. And the fact that it plays like a Pixar animated movie during gameplay is quite the achievement.
Yeah. I really haven't been following this game, quite frankly, because I don't have a PS5, so it's just kind of outside my realm of interest just by that reason alone. But the Ratchet and Clank games are great, and they're a lot of fun. It's just good classic 3D platforming, but this one really does seem to take it to the next level. And from all accounts that I've heard, it's a showcase game for the PS5.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I think Returnal at one point was that cake, but now Ratchet is the new cake.
Well,
to really kind of show it off.
I think they're different types of cake.
Sure.
If we're going to use the cake.
Sure, there certainly are. Yeah. Man, I would love a good piece of cake right now.
Nikki's baking cookies.
Ooh.
Some kind of like.
What kind?
Some kind of pecan cookie or something. I don't even know, man. She tells me she's going to bake one thing, and then before she gets home, she changes her mind into something else. I can't keep up with her. It's impossible.
It makes me think of people when there's pecan pie. I feel like everybody says pecan. Oh, there's pecan pie, but in any other sentence, when a pecan or a pecan, however you want to say it, comes into play, no one says pecan. Humans are interesting.
Yeah, I'm guilty of that.
Well, they sound delicious, and I'm sure they're going to be great.
I'll take some photos and show you later.
Please. I do have brownies here that Lauren made yesterday, so I guess we're on the same page.
Nice.
And I might have another one. I had one before the show, Drew, but I might have another.
Well,
which would mean I would have two. Because I'm living on the edge today, Drew. It's a Monday. I might have two brownies.
Control yourself, please.
Oof. I'm pushing it, man, with two.
Oh, goodness. Tell me about Scarlet Nexus. This is also on your list of possible buys, huh?
Yeah, this is one that popped up on my YouTube feed. I saw some of the channels that I follow review it. And again, it was one of those sort of stylistic anime games, and probably, again, I have no business playing it because it looks a little bit complex. But man, there's a lot of these anime sorts of games that are coming out that just look so much like an actual anime in motion. So like the gameplay itself
Mm-hmm.
looks like the anime, and I think Dragon Ball Fighters was a good example of that.
Mm-hmm.
And there have been others like even Genshin Impact. A lot of these games that are really popular, they just look better and better, and it's getting to the point where the gameplay is matching the quality of actually watching a real Japanese animation. And I think Japanese anime has always been known for being really over the top, and I'm
Mm.
kind of into that. And yeah, Scarlet Nexus, I don't know a lot about it, but the dude has a sword, and that's cool. I like swords. And
Oh
yeah,
shit.
the gameplay just looks fun. So, again, people are like, man, like this is enough to sell well. And it kind of is. I don't know what it is, man. I'm really attracted to like really pretty anime stylistic games. It always intrigues me. And I think it's because I really had such a fascination with the whole genre of Japanese animation when I was a teenager.
Yeah, IGN praised the characters in this game. I guess the let's see here. They're trying to. It basically combines large scale JRPGs with character action games, and tries to blend them, and it does so to some degree. But the story and the characters are really what stand out amongst all the other things. And they're saying it's a surprise breakout hit for 2021. So
Hmm.
that's the Cliff's Notes version of the last paragraph. But yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, just
there's like little animations too that excite me, kind of like an X-Men versus Street Fighter when you do like a super or like a special whatever, you see your character's face and a bar come across the screen
mm,
before they do it. And there's that kind of stuff happening. And I know Persona 5 does things like that as well. It's like sort of bringing something close to the screen like this and then bringing it away.
mm,
Those kind of animations, I don't know what it is, man. It's enough to sell me on it. But am I going to buy the game at 60? No way.
no.
No way.
Um,
If this game drops down to 30 or something, then maybe.
you mentioned Persona 5. That might be worth checking out. That game is ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's also literally 100 hours. So,
Yes. It's
um,
free too. It's free on the PlayStation Plus collection,
oh, there you go.
which I have yet to really kind of. Well, I've explored it, but I haven't
Mm,
downloaded anything from that collection yet. I don't know if one day they're just going to take all the games away and they won't be free anymore. But there's a Ratchet and Clank game on there too. It's an older one,
mm.
but it's free.
I would give Persona 5 a try. Just fire it up and put a couple hours into it. Just see. That game is oozing with so much personality, and the soundtrack is like no other. And I mean that in the best way. Just the moment you mentioned Persona 5, I immediately had songs stuck in my head from that game.
Yeah, it's amazing how much praise that game has got,
Yeah,
and still gets. It's quite incredible.
it is. It's a tough game to balance because there's a lot going on in it, but for those that can, I think it's a rewarding play.
Hmm.
All right,
Hmm.
so next on your list here, Unravel. When I saw this on the list, it kind of made me think that this might fall in line with that sort of thing you were looking for that Lauren might gravitate towards, but I'm not sure if it will now that I'm starting to think.
Yeah, so Unravel I've known about for a while. I think it came out in 2016, and
Mm,
then they made a second game, and you play as a character named Yarny, and you literally are playing as a piece of yarn or like a sort of ball of yarn, I guess. And you use your yarn to kind of swing around and do stuff, and it's just this beautiful side-scrolling sort of indie game. And we came across it when I was browsing through the store yesterday, and it was like $3.
mm,
And I was like, man, maybe I should just grab this now because I wanted to play it. And then we watched the trailer because I was trying to sell Lauren on it, and she didn't really say that much, but I don't know if she would like it because it's a little bit more of like a side-scrolling adventure, and I think she's more into that sort of 3D
mm,
platforming kind of experience. And I don't know if we're going to get that with Unravel, but the endearing, sort of charming, cutesy quality that Lauren likes is definitely present with Unravel. And I kind of want to experience the story because it actually looks really good.
mm. Yeah, I mean, looking through some of the photographs of the game that I'm seeing here, it certainly feels like it's a serious game with a cute paint of coat or coat of paint, excuse me. You know what I mean?
That's my fear, for
Like,
Lauren's sake.
yeah. So I think for like you and me, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but for what you're trying to accomplish with her, maybe not.
Probably not. But that's on my list, and it's like
Mm,
$3 or $4, so
can't beat that.
that might be getting bought. We'll see.
Yeah. And then finally, a PlayStation 3 classic on your list here, Heavy Rain. I've played this game to completion.
You
I
have.
have.
You have. And you had some pretty decent things to say about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think you should play it. There's a lot wrong with that game. And well, I mean, there's a lot it does well. Like
Yeah.
it's flawed. It's just a flawed game. It doesn't make it
Yeah.
bad or good even, but it is what it is. And they set forward to tell this story, but they introduce plot threads that end up going nowhere. Like they get dropped. They become completely meaningless, and it's a little frustrating.
Ironically, it was actually part of my sort of conquest to find games that Lauren would enjoy, but this would be more one that I think she would enjoy watching because she is into a lot of murder mysteries and
Mm,
murder shows and things like that. She watches Bones and all this other stuff and
right.
NCIS and all those investigative murder things. And with Heavy Rain, I know that it's basically a murder mystery, if I'm not mistaken. And you have the origami killer or something like that. And I think we even saw a cameo in Astro's Playroom. There was actually an Astro laying on his back with the little origami piece on his chest, and I was like, that's definitely Heavy Rain.
Mm,
But yeah, this is a game I had tested out on a demo on PS3 forever ago,
yeah.
back in PS3's heyday. And I was like, man, this is really cool. And then they came out the remaster, 3-4 years ago, whatever. And it's just always been on my radar. And I kind of want to get it if it's at a good price, and then just play it on the side or something. Have Lauren, that could be my Lauren watches me play game.
Yeah,
She could help me find the origami killer.
it's an interesting game, man. It's been so long since I've played it that I'm sure I'm missing details, but I do think it's worth experiencing. It would be a good game that I think if you were to play it, I think it'd be good for the game club to play as a group and discuss. Like I would replay that game to do that if that was something you were
Yeah, from a
interested in.
discussion perspective, it's probably perfect.
And somebody actually did recommend it as a potential game in the game club too. So when we get ready to fire that up again and choose a new game, I think that would be something, that would be in contention for the, yeah. So
I agree.
Somebody put it in here. Why is this a good game for the game club? It's controversial, lots of talking points, divisive, interesting gameplay. Not entirely sure who submitted it. We have a anonymous system set up for the votes, but yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's cool. I must have missed that.
Yeah, I think it's worth checking out.
Yeah, Quantic Dream, the developer, they're kind of an interesting set of developers there. That studio is just interesting. Like they put out pretty fresh original games. I don't think they've done anything that's not been original.
Right.
They were behind Detroit Become Human, I believe, and I forget the other game.
Well, they did
Beyond.
They did Beyond.
Two Souls.
They did a game for the original Xbox called Fahrenheit. I think it was on the PS2 as well.
Huh.
They called it Indigo Prophecy in America. Overseas, it was called Fahrenheit. And that was a weird game. They focus on these like artsy, like weird stories with these like interesting kind of hooks. The problem that I've seen with the Quantic Dream games that I've played or the ones that I've read about is they always like shoot for the stars and then they just don't have quite what it takes to follow up on that delivery. So it's like you're commending them for doing something different and ambitious, but then they just consistently kind of just miss the mark.
Yeah, that's disappointing.
Yeah.
I mean, at least the ambition's there, but yeah, hopefully with their next title, they can really, button things up and land on that delivery.
Hopefully.
But I actually heard that one of the complaints on Heavy Rain was the voice acting. They used a lot of different dialects and different accents and stuff, which made it kind of confusing. I think there was a lot of Irish accents that were present, but I heard some mixed reviews on that.
I'd have to go back and play it. I don't remember if that was true or not. I played that game probably 10 years ago.
Oh, God.
So, it came out in 2010. I didn't get it at release, but I got it pretty close. So.
It looked stunning. Like, remember when it first came out on PS3? Everybody was like, whoa.
Yep.
Like, look, what is this studio doing?
They did some sort of a remaster collection, too, for the PS4, which I believe has a couple of the Quantic Dream games mixed in. Let's see here.
Yeah, I think I have seen that.
Heavy Rain PS4. It comes with, it's Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls in one box. So
nice.
I bet you can get that on the cheap. And it looks like they do have a collection that has Detroit Become Human as well. So if
that is a free game right now for PS Plus.
Detroit?
Yeah.
I wonder if I grabbed it. I don't know if I did.
Actually, let me reiterate this. It is a PS Plus collection game.
Oh, okay. Well.
Yeah, so you would need a PS5.
Nope, don't have that.
But that game's supposed to be good too.
I've heard again, same kind of thing. Just mixed things from these guys. So, but yeah, man, I think it's a solid list. If I were you, I would jump on Ratchet and Clank and I wouldn't look back.
Yeah, that game. I mean, coming off of Astro's, dude. I mean, it looks like the next fun game for Will.
Yeah, 100%. Plus, you're looking for something that's going to. Really show off the capabilities of that PlayStation. You're looking for showcase games right now. You've got Returnal. Now you need the other end of the spectrum. So
yeah, I gotta get back to Demon Souls, man. I haven't played with Tom. Like our ritual was every Sunday morning, and I didn't hear from him again on Sunday. So he's probably busy. He does a lot of. He actually plays pool.
Okay.
Almost professionally at this point. Like he does tournaments and all this kind of stuff. So I gotta catch up with him because that game is also. A masterpiece on PS5 and definitely a showcase game. But yeah, we have not, or at least I have not sunk my teeth into that experience enough to warrant, gushing all over it at this point.
Yeah. I'd like to hear like a final review from you on that one.
Yeah, I mean, that's a game that's very close to the heart. So
Sure.
I'd really like to explore that world further.
Mm-hmm. Well, man, what else you got? Anything else you want to talk about? I ran out of topics about 20 minutes ago.
I think that's it, man. I think that brings us to about an hour. I just am kind of excited to get back into some games. I really want to, make my way back to Returnal this week. I'd like to get the Platinum Trophy in Astro's Playroom. And I will probably pull the trigger on one of those games on that list, and it probably will be something like Ratchet and Clank. It will be something realistic. If it's Guilty Gear Strive, we might as well just end the show because that'll be a $60 purchase down the drain.
Yeah, I don't think you should buy that. I really don't think you should buy that. And
it's not going to happen.
I'll tell you one more reason too, because that game will go on sale for $20 in 6 months, and whether you play it now or you play it 6 months from now, it's still going to be the same experience. You're going to get your ass whooped. So you might as well just hold on to the money, save yourself 40, buy it for 20, and then get your ass whooped at a cheaper price.
Exactly. It's just less of a suffering.
Less suffering for Will.
Yeah.
Before we sign off, just a quick programming note. I will be on vacation next week, so we will not be doing a live stream. Will and I are going to record a mailbag episode on Wednesday. So the day that this is released, we'll be recording that episode. If you're not already a member of our Discord room, we'd love to have you stop on by, leave a question for us in the mailbag. There's a link for the Discord in the show notes. So swing on by, say hello. Of course, you can find a link to this as well at our website, WDGRpodcast.com. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at WDGR Podcast, and on Patreon at patreon.com/WDGR Podcast. Will, how can they find you?
SoundCloud.com/Will_Gear.
And you can find me at Scion Storm. And I queued up my lower third instead of your lower third. So we're going to leave that up. We're going to do a little switcheroo. That's going to come up on the screen. There's Will's URL.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're both covered now. All right. I'm a professional, guys.
Stream Deck and all.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, this thing is great. So that'll be it. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Thanks for bearing with us through our continuous glitches and stuff. And we'll see you next time.
See ya.